My name is Andrew Perlott. This is Socratic State of Mind. Welcome to the intuitive age. The future may make more sense to average people. The Enlightenment is limping across the world stage. Classical liberalism, if not the liberalism hurled across the halls of Congress like a curse, appears to be on the back foot. Some cheer this reversal, while others bemoan the downfall of something great. But for a moment, let's put aside the rightness or wrongness of the Enlightenment's fixes to mankind's ancient problems and ask, do they seem intuitively correct? You'd think they would after all this time. Some, like natural law and separation of powers, were the idealistic hobbyhorses of ancient Greco-Roman philosophers and statesmen that only reached widespread prominence among the Renaissance elite. They were built on until the 16th century, when they were rolled out in constitutions and law, again by an elite. More than 300 years have passed since then, and Westerners have seen their fruits, but it's not clear most people believe they're correct solutions leading to good outcomes. Perhaps not even their ancestors who fought for these ideas really believed in the Enlightenment Idea Stack. They're often unintuitive positions to hold. Let's consider some of them. Unintuitive. Tolerating offensive or unpleasant speech and ideas is good. Intuitive. Silence those who sow discord. Unintuitive. Don't move borders by force. Intuitive. Sometimes you have to take by force to do the right thing. Unintuitive. Free trade, comparative advantage, and creative destruction. Intuitive. Protectionism, planned economy, stability. Unintuitive. The government should be neutral on moral and cultural questions. Intuitive. The government should protect and stabilize society and promote morality. Unintuitive. Restrain popular leaders through checks and balances and separation of powers. Intuitive. The popular leader should do what they think is best. Unintuitive. Individualism, humanism, challenging authority. Intuitive. Tribalism, deference to authority, and conformity. It's striking how quickly support for the unintuitive Enlightenment stack eroded. I suspect people who changed their minds now merely feel unshamed in voicing what their intuition screamed all along. This can't possibly be right. It hurts too much, and I see evidence that these ideas damage what I love. All these ideas have a central premise. You, your community, and your region may feel discomfort or pain when these policies rule, but over time, benefits will accrue for society, so we're collectively stronger. But specific good things won't be attributed to these policies without data sets and modeling. Some effects are impossible to quantify or judge, and so ideology is their main advocate. They're unintuitive. How many people are capable of steel-manning the ideas of creative destruction, comparative advantage, and international competition being good, whether or not they want them? Is this because of the much-touted declines in abstract reasoning, or did the ideas never make sense to most people? Free trade advocating economists never say trade's effects are painless, but merely that they're good on net for America and humanity generally. It is, in effect, a call to experience discomfort in the hope of future gain for the many. Some regions and industries will suffer or die, so prices fall and higher value-added jobs get created. It's a kind of economic Darwinism leading to fitter societies at the cost of some beautiful things being degraded or destroyed. Ancient philosophers came up with complex justifications for putting the whole above one's personal interests. Epictetus uses the metaphor of individuals being like the foot of a large body. Quote, "It will be appropriate for a foot to step into mud and trample on thorns, and sometimes even to be cut off for the sake of the body as a whole, for otherwise it will no longer be a foot," unquote. Marcus Aurelius journaled about these ideas precisely because they're easy to lose track of if we're not reminding ourselves to look beyond our emotions and interests. Quote, "Anything which isn't good for the hive isn't good for the bee either," he wrote. The Stoics embraced the idea of hardship being good because they thought it improved us, which is also an unintuitive idea, though now supported by much evidence. Quote, "Fire tests gold, misfortune brave men," Seneca says, and excellence shrivels without adversity. But most lack these abstract theories, and they might even flee the mind of adherents when discomfort arrives. If you need a philosophy practice to justify policy, it's unintuitive. We might ask, did the American Revolutionary War generation, who gave their lives to enshrine pieces of the Enlightenment stack at the core of their new nation, even believe these ideas? I find it more plausible that only their leaders did, while they merely saw where their interests lay. Self-government, instead of being ruled by a distant king and parliament? Not having textiles, rum, and their beloved tea imports tariffed and taxed? Stability and inalienable rights? Freedom to practice their religion unharassed? Trade wherever profit can be made? These are the things they really cared about. I suspect most saw the Enlightenment stack as means to an end. One of these unintuitive abstractions is built into the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. For most of history, people didn't find this claim self-evidently correct, and it would be decades before Jefferson's hypocrisy came full circle. Believing in the inherent equality of man requires mental gymnastics and the bypassing of several biases. It's basically based in a kind of philosophy which you have to work to get to. It's still counterintuitive to many people or outright disbelieved. In 2017, The New Yorker wrote a profile of President Trump which claimed, quote, he told associates that he sees exercise as unnecessary and even harmful because it uses up the body's finite energy, unquote. Say what you will of President Trump's finite energy theory, but it's an intuitive take requiring no theory of hormesis to grasp. And lining up with the pain and depletion we experience after heavy labor, it's so intuitive that both the ancient humor theory and the Victorian-era vital energy theory came to the same conclusion. Exercise must be limited to preserve vital energies and prevent enervation. The president's entire ideology seems to be built around these intuitive takes, and it's hard to think of any of his policies that ask adherents to fight their gut feelings. His opponents across the aisle also increasingly rely on appeals to intuition of a different sort. I've no idea if the unintuitive Enlightenment stack will recover its former glory or lose more mindshare, though I think we should take a moment to wonder at the improbability of it coming to prominence in the first place. Perhaps we're entering an age in which the aims of government must be easily graspable, less abstract, and less idealistic. But it's worth asking, whatever direction society takes, which part of the stack will survive in a new intuitive-only age? My best guess is questioning. The scientific method born during the Enlightenment was more of a codification than a creation. Science is ancient and intuitive. When Aboriginal Americans discovered a cure for pellagra by soaking corn in lime water, when Africans learned they could stop cassava from poisoning them by leaching out the cyanide, and when 1,000 other uncivilized cultures obtained incredibly accurate information about healthy and poisonous plants, they must have relied on a process of theorizing, experimentation, and deducing. Try out enough solutions and something may click, makes intuitive sense, but it's also a way-finding technique for the truth. This truth-seeking is a hallmark of the irascible few. They stubbornly insist on asking perturbating questions and deducing answers from the floundering replies. It's been the domain of rebels for millennia. Even if the rest of the Enlightenment stack fades and intolerance for individual divergence from the official line grows into oppression, there will always be a Socrates, a Bruno, a Galileo discovering truths no one wants to hear and asking questions that can't be answered. To the degree that the Enlightenment Idea Stack approximates truth and reality itself, I suspect it can never die, for even if suppressed, its enduring truths will be rediscovered. And to the degree that it's fluff and ideology, all of mankind should be happy to wave it goodbye. Only time will tell what falls by the wayside. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.